Good morning, everybody. You are currently listening to a Tall Girls podcast hosted by a tall girl named India. I hope you're having a fantastic fall day today. Emphasis on fall because it's really starting to feel like fall nowadays. So, this hurricane or storm or whatever from Florida decided to come up to New York, and it had been dark for 5 days straight. No sunlight and all rain and strong winds. It was horrendous. I was not enjoying it. I don't mind the dark, cloudy weather, because it's like it makes staying at home and working and schooling comfortable. Like, yes, I'm not trying to be outside in that, so might as well just stay in and be productive. Like, it helps with my productivity. But when you add the rain and the wind to it, no, I'm not here for it. But the sun just came out like a day or two ago, and I'm really enjoying it. I'm enjoying the vitamin D and the crisp fall air. Like, it's been in the 50s and 60s recently. And I don't know, I'm kind of here for it. I like the 50, 60 degree weather paired with the sunlight. It's just a good combo. It's just when it gets dark and rainy, But I'm here for it. I'm enjoying it now before, winter comes along and it's 20 degrees with 6 inches of snow outside. But anyways, we're not here to talk about the weather. Before I get into this episode, make sure you are following me on my socials at a Tall Girls Podcast on Instagram, TikTok, and Pinterest for almost daily, super hilarious tall girl content and updates on the latest podcast episodes. Now, today, we are back with another Tall Girl Chats. Oh my gosh, it's been so long since I've had one of these, but if you're new here, by the way, hi. But if you're new here, Tall Girl Chats is a series where we just have a chit chat. Well, it's more so me talking and you listening. I would think you would respond. Do you respond when you listen to my episodes? When I ask questions, do you say yes or no or answer? See how I waited for a response there? Only a little bit. I don't know if I gave you enough time, but I would hope that you're responding like we're having a little conversation. But where we have a chit chat, that's what Tall Girl Chats is, about life and existence. And oh my gosh, that sounds really deep. I don't think it's that deep. It can get deep at times, but I really don't think it's that deep. But what's just happening in life, these days. And speaking of that, one of the things that I want to talk about is motivation. Yeah, motivation. We love that word. We see a lot motivation versus discipline nowadays, especially on TikTok. I've been on TikTok way too much, but motivation versus discipline. Yeah. Now I understand what they're saying, that motivation eventually wears off and discipline is what keeps you going. And eventually, if you're consistent enough, the motivation will come back. It's like an ongoing cycle of motivation. And I really could not agree more, because for some reason, I have been severely lacking motivation ever since fall started. I don't know. I just feel lazier, not wanting to do things, waking up later, waking up groggy and tired, which is something that hasn't happened to me all summer. I just feel like I want to hibernate. I just want to take a big comforter, wrap it around me, and just sleep for a couple months. Yeah. But for some reason, I feel like it's seasonal, like over the spring and summer, like I said before. I have big amounts of energy and I just want to go and improve and do things and get it together and just be super awesome. And I made so much progress because of that and so many changes in my life. And now fall and winter is here. I just want to stop and do absolutely nothing. Not one thing. I just want to lay down on my floor and stare at the ceiling. I don't know. Is it burnout? I don't think it's burnout. I don't feel exhausted from doing work or anything. It's like I have the ability, the capabilities to do stuff, but I just want to do nothing at the same time. It's so weird. But now that I made these changes and these improvements in my life, I can't just stop, you know? You have to maintain those improvements and those changes. You don't even necessarily have to keep going up and improving and changing, because, you know, sometimes a lot of change, a lot of big change can be extremely overwhelming. It was extremely overwhelming for me. It was too much at one point, too much change, too much different directions. And I couldn't think that I could handle it, but I had to keep telling myself that I could, and I had to, because I'm making so much progress. Like, why stop now? But after a certain point, it just got so overwhelming that it's like, oh, do I really want to continue making a lot more changes and doing more things? Maybe I could just hold off till next year, 2023, make that my resolution. But either way, you still have to maintain those changes and maintain those improvements. And lately I've been thinking, like, what's the point? You know, are these improvements even still gonna be here in a couple months, a couple years? It's just a bad thing to think about, because yeah, obviously they are gonna be here in a couple months, in a couple years. Like, for example, I started freelancing, you know, and I just this year I got new clients to work with, and they expressed that they want to, you know, maintain long-term relationship with me. And that's like a couple years down the line type stuff. So yeah, I'm going to have to keep doing it, you know, for years. But I don't know, that's what's been happening, and it's frustrating going to school and working, doing my freelancing, and trying to take care of my mental health and my confidence. Like, it's so hard, and no one told me it was going to be this hard. No one told me that all this crying and sacrificing and struggling was going to come with trying to turn my life around. So I'm here to tell you that if you are struggling, you are not alone. We are all in this together. And trust me, it will all be worth it in the end. All of the hard work and all of the struggle, all of the sacrifice, it's for a reason. It's for a bigger reason, so that you in a year, you in 3 months, you in even 10 years could be like, I'm so glad that I did that, because I've come so far and there's so much that I accomplished because of it. So yes, it will be worth it in the end. And I'm just trying to keep that mindset going. You know, I'm halfway through this semester and I think I'm doing okay. Like, I haven't had any crazy mental breakdowns over classes. Yes, I have had mental breakdowns, but nothing too insane, you know what I mean? So I'm not alone, you're not alone, and we all got this. And that's another thing that I'm struggling with, because, you know, since we're talking about struggle, being alone. I don't want to, do I say loneliness? I don't even want to say loneliness, because I feel better now than I did last year about being alone and spending time by myself. Like, I thought it was such a bad thing that I was alone doing things by myself. I looked like a freak and stuff like that. I really, really dreaded being alone. But now I actually find enjoyment in it. You know, I sometimes crave being alone, as I will probably talk about a little bit later, but it's just, I don't know, I feel like I got so much clarity out of my life being alone. I was able to try new things and figure things out, you know, by myself. Figure things out that I actually liked that I didn't know that I liked, things that I disliked, and I learned that I'm not gonna settle for anything, because, you know, why be with somebody who's crusty when I'm kind of, you know, hanging out with myself. You know, I can buy myself food, I can take myself places. I can make myself laugh, and I talk to myself. Yes, talking to yourself apparently is healthy for your brain. And a lot of intelligent people do it. So if you talk to yourself, you're not a weirdo. But if you didn't know, as I mentioned before, I started school recently, and it's my first time being in person after being online for the first 2 years. So I'm a college junior. In my freshman and sophomore year, I was completely online because, the pandemic and stuff. So a lot of people were doing remote learning, and my school just straight up had so much online, pretty much everything online in the first year and a half. But then in the last semester of my sophomore year, that's when they really started pushing in person. I was like, why am I trying to go in person? It's 20 degrees outside. So I just stayed online. But I made the decision to go in person this semester. It's not like I really had any other choice because everything was in person. Well, not everything. Almost everything was in person. So I'm trying my best to put myself out there and make friends and go up to people and actually talk to them first, instead of waiting around. But people are just, for lack of a better term, acting funny. Like, they give me this side eye, look me up and down, but not in a good way, and brush me off and even ignore me, looking at their phones and seeming like they're preoccupied. Is it because I'm tall? Honestly, I don't even care because I love my height. And the fact that you wouldn't even talk to somebody because they're tall, that's stupid. But it's just weird doing things on campus alone all the time. And then you see some of these people having their little cliques and stuff. They have their little friend, I guess, from orientation or from high school or something like that. I didn't go to the same school as much of my friends from high school. Well, my close friends from high school, they all go to different schools from me, and then at least we keep in touch, but they're not physically present in the school with me. So I'm just walking alone, going to the library alone, even going to, they just announced that the club that I'm trying to join is gonna be in person this coming Thursday, the day that this episode comes out. So if you're listening to this on the day that this comes out, I'm just letting you know I am going to be going to a club meeting that day and hopefully meeting new friends. But I don't know, I'm just feeling like people are very antisocial. And I don't want to say I don't like that because everybody has their right to be antisocial. Sometimes being social is very tiring. But geez, I'm at least trying to have a conversation with you. And it's like, if you don't want to talk to me, just be like, sorry, I'm not in the mood to talk. And be like, okay, that's fine. That makes sense. Instead of giving me attitude. But then it's also like I don't mind being alone too. I don't know what's wrong with me, but I really just get these urges to be alone. Like, I crave alone time, but then when I'm alone, I'm like, oh, I'm so lonely. No one wants to hang out with me. I'm gonna be alone forever. Is anyone else like that too? I just think I'm in this weird transition period in my life where I'm just trying to find balance. Like, I'm good with being alone and whatnot, which is super awesome. Big accomplishment on my part, quite frankly, because I used to find that so embarrassing. But now I'm trying to be good with, friends or even colleagues, just being social now. Because, I was online for the first 2 years of school, so it's not like I really had a chance to have a conversation with anybody. You feel? But I hear that this is what happens when you truly start working on yourself. All of the old people in your life kind of distance themselves. They just disappear randomly, and I guess these mysterious forces out there seem to prevent people who don't align with your goals and values from coming up in your space. They kind of keep those people away from you. So if you're under the impression that people don't want to be around you, they always say choose growth over company any and every day. There's a reason that there's not a lot of people around you to keep you from getting distracted from your higher goals, because you have big goals to accomplish. And if those goals are meant to be accomplished now, You don't need any distractions. They're trying to keep those distractions away from you. They're trying to keep the toxic people away from you. They're trying to keep the people who aren't going to inspire and motivate you, or even just put a smile on your face. They're trying to keep those people away from you. And that's really important to know. If you're working on yourself and you're trying to accomplish your goals, there's a reason why you're alone most of the time. You can use the time that you would be using to hang out with them and do crazy things, and even honestly sometimes waste your time in conversations you're just disassociating with everybody else because you just don't want to be there, but you're there just so you can have friends. But all that time that you're using with them, or all that time you're even wasting with them, you could be using that to accomplish your goals. And that's exactly why it's just randomly people not being around you. So you can focus on your goals by yourself and learn to love hanging out with yourself too. So yes, I will very well continue to eat my pretzels alone, no matter what people think, no matter if they think that I look dumb. And that's another thing. Everybody has this fear of looking dumb. I used to have that fear, but everybody has this fear of looking dumb when they're trying to make positive decisions and changes in their lives, when they're trying to work on themselves, they're trying to get their fitness goals, or they're trying to start that business, start that podcast even. Look at me. Studying and even trying to, be happy, skipping the rain. You know what I mean? Everybody has this fear of looking dumb when they're trying to get their lives together. But you know what looks dumb? You in the future complaining about something in your life that you had and still have control over, that you chose and still choose to do nothing about it out of fear of looking stupid. That's when you look stupid with a capital S. Okay. But yeah, I had my first genuine conversation with two people on campus literally yesterday, the day before I recorded this. And they even felt the same way. People here don't want to branch out and make new friends and socialize. They're very antisocial. They're very cliquey. So I'm not alone in that manner. And hey, maybe even I made some acquaintances, some colleagues from that. They were in my finance class. So you never know. I have a test next week, so I'm not going to be able to talk to them. And maybe in 2 weeks, maybe I'll say hi again and see what happens. It was funny because they didn't even come up to me. I went up to just one of them, because I entered the classroom. It was just me and the other person alone in the classroom. So I was just like, screw it, even though I had many failures with talking to people at first, I'm just gonna start a conversation with this person randomly. So I was like, are you ready for the test next week? And from there, somehow another person decided to join the conversation when they pulled up. And next thing you know, I'm just learning about their lives. They're just telling me their entire life stories. And I'm just here. I'm here for it. That's what I like, We don't have to be super mega friends, but let's just have a chat, Let's make colleagues, acquaintances in this classroom, in this class while we still can, because it's not going to last forever. And eventually we're going to go on to our big girl, big boy, big person lives, Let's enjoy it while it still lasts. But yeah, progress in all fields. And I'm happy for that. So yeah, that was a long chat. I think we're closing in on 20 minutes now. So I think I'm going to end it here. I know some of you guys listen to this while you do your homework. One person said that. And I'm wondering, do you appreciate the longer podcast episodes? I think I mentioned it before earlier that I'm trying to do longer episodes because I know people are going to be going on train rides and bus rides and doing homework and stuff like that. And they're going to want to listen to something on the ride. And, that's part of the reason why I'm trying to do longer podcast episodes and a lot of content for you guys on social media, so you can stay preoccupied with a Tall Girls podcast, of course. So let me know if these longer episodes are good, if you want me to continue doing that and it helps you doing all the other mundane tasks that you don't want to do, because then I'll continue it. And if you like the shorter ones, then I'll do the shorter ones, So yeah, I appreciate you. If you ended up listening this far into the episode, you are super awesome, super amazing. As always, feel free to hit me up on my socials at a Tall Girls Podcast on Instagram, TikTok, and Pinterest. Let me know if you like these longer episodes. Let me know if you want shorter episodes. Let me know if you've been feeling unmotivated, feeling lonely, if you're trying to work on yourself, if you're struggling in school. Let me know. We're all in this together. I want to hear from you, okay? I promise you I'll respond. Probably not like within 10 minutes, but I will eventually respond to you. Best believe that. I always try to get back to people who hit me up and all the comments and all that stuff. And also feel free to leave a review. Let me know how tall you are. Let me know what the vibe is with this podcast and your life in general. Everything will be linked below, so it's easy for you. Just click on it and bada bing, bada boom, Mr. Worldwide steps in the room. Oh, Pitbull has been in my heart these days. I'm going to stop rambling. I will catch you in the next one. Good night and goodbye.